So what if I told you that Neville Goddard never really taught techniques as the end goal, but as training wheels? And the issue is most people never take them off. This is how most people approach manifesting. Okay, they say, which technique should I use? Should I use stats? Should I use visualization? Should I use this, that? If everyone who used techniques got the end results permanently, sometimes people get it temporarily, permanently, why aren't they getting it? So many people use stats, or so many people use in a conversation, they temporarily get some things, or they manifest small things, but when it comes to manifesting so-called big things in their life, why aren't they getting it? Because this is what Neville Goddard taught. Neville taught that it is your state of consciousness which is manifested. It is not the techniques which manifest. Techniques are like tools, but it is the state of consciousness which manifests. So today, we are breaking down the difference between using techniques and actually shifting your state of consciousness, and the key difference between this. And that's why I see so many people getting stuck in a rut for many years, because they focus too heavily on techniques. And when I started my journey, I was also like that. I was very much into techniques, and not to say the techniques are not useful, but I'm going to share both sides of the equation so you understand how it is. By the way, my name is Rohit, and I've been studying about manifesting for years now, and my goal with this channel is to simplify manifesting so everyone can manifest the dream wife, dream partner, whatever their desires are. And by the way, I've also designed a completely free video series where I go over all the most common manifesting mistakes, the 3 most common ones, plus a bonus one. Check it out, the link is in the description, because so many people have come to me for coaching and asked me about manifesting, and I see this pattern happening over and over and over again. So it's my gift to you. It's completely free of charge. Check it out, the link is in the description, and I go over the most common 3 manifesting techniques, and plus I threw in a bonus one there as well, so you can understand and avoid this mistake. So you don't even need me, you don't need any of the YouTubers or anyone anymore once you really fix those mistakes. So Neville Goddard's first foundational truth is this, that nothing is ever created. Okay, we just moved into the state. So nothing is ever created, everything already exists. So love exists, wealth exists, good health exists, your promotion already exists, the position you want to be in your financial life already exists, or in your love life, it already exists. Nothing is really created. So this is where it differs a bit from, let's say, law of attraction versus law of assumption. So these are not goals, but these are states of consciousness. So we are not creating love, but we are shifting into the state where love already exists, and we match that state, and then that state shows up in our reality. So what we are doing is we are shifting states. And sometimes people say, I get confused, Rohit, what are states? States are a collection of beliefs, thoughts, and assumptions. They are like a collection of these, right? So when you really truly shift states, that is what you're doing. You're going into the state, right? And techniques can help you get into the state, but the key shift is this shift in consciousness to the person who already has that. That is the key shift. So you're choosing the state that you want to be in. It's like tuning into the radio station. You're not creating the music. The music already exists. You're just tuning into the right radio station. And some people like to use the word frequency, state, whatever works for you. I prefer the word state, but they are both synonymous to me, frequency or state. So you're tuning into the right state or right frequency, and from there it's what it matters. Now here is a most common trap, and I guess most of you might be aware, some of you might not be aware. This is the most common trap. People do techniques from the state of not having it, and they think by doing these techniques they will have it. But when you do from the state of not having it, what does it imply? That implies lack. For example, a lot of people will do inner conversation, and they're not in a relationship or they're not in a love life, but they keep doing these techniques from a state of I don't have it, right? So they're doing this in a conversation, and they're saying I'm deeply loved, I'm deeply cherished, but they're doing it from a state of I don't have it, it's lack. So there's a separation. So even when you're doing the right techniques, you're doing it from a state of separation. So what does it create? More separation. And it's the most funniest things. That's why most of the people, they get stuck in this loop, where they constantly keep using techniques. Maybe they use techniques for months or years and they still don't manifest. And they say, when I do my visualization, I feel it. I feel it, or I feel like I'm in that state, but it's been 2 years or 3 years and you still haven't manifested your goal. That means there is something wrong. No manifestation should take that long. Even whales, they have like a 12-month gestation period, right? So no desire should take such a long time. So Neville was very clear. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. So who are you being when you're doing those techniques? That is the key. And techniques are like state inducing tools, right? They help you get into the state and stay in the state. But even before you use the technique, you're doing it from a point of view of, oh, I don't have it, I'm in a state of lack, I need to get something. That is where you just fall off the bandwagon and you've completely derailed all your efforts, right? I'll give you a very simple example, right? Let's say you are very new to pickleball, for example. Okay, you've never played pickleball, you're very new to pickleball, and you practice pickleball, whatever. But if you go into that state before you practice pickleball, you go into state, I'm a great pickleball player, I have incredible reactions, I can read other players very well, and this is your self-concept, this is your state of being. Before you say to yourself, before you go into doing your techniques or before you do your practice, you say, how would I behave internally, not necessarily externally? How would I be if this was really true? If I was a really top pickleball player, if I really had amazing reaction, if I could really read the opponents very well, how would I be inside? Okay, and you tap into that feeling, you tap into that state, right? And then you do your practice, or then you do your visualization, whatever technique you use. You will see an instant difference in the way it executes, right? Even though you might fumble, even though in the practice it might go completely wrong, but your inner state is, I am already that, and I'm just reliving it, making it more natural by using the techniques. It's a very subtle difference, but it is a key difference, and it makes all the difference in the world. So I'm just gonna read these few key lines because they're so important. I don't want you to miss it. So this is what Neville says. This is where freedom comes from. You are not your current identity. You are not your bank balance. You are not your circumstances. Okay? You are the awareness, the traveler who can move between these circumstances. Okay? So states are like cities. You're in one city, another city. If you're in New York, for example, if you don't like that city, you just move to another city. You don't try to fight with the city. You don't try to destroy the city. You don't try to build 100 skyscrapers. You're like, I don't like living in the city. I just move to another city. The other city already exists. So you are like the traveler between states. So for example, if you like San Diego more than New York, you just simply move to San Diego. You don't try to fight New York and change New York and fix New York. You don't need to do that. If you want to move into the state, you just move. So we are like that traveler. We are those state shifters. We shift our states. So this is what Neville said. States are like cities. You visit them, but you are not them. Very important thing. You are not them. You visit them. And the moment you recognize, I can choose a new state right now. I can be a new person right now. You stop fighting circumstances and you start occupying the identity. Okay? So every state is available and you can choose that state right now. You don't need any conditions. You don't need to be very good at it. You don't need to be perfect. You just choose that state right now. And that state is available. So you start fighting the circumstances and you start accepting, or you start occupying that new identity of already being that person. So whenever I practice something, like if I practice singing, you can see my guitars in the back. I love to sing. I love to play guitar. So I always try to practice and sing from the state of, I am a great singer. Even the 3D world can show me the complete opposite. But I'm like, what would I be like? How would I practice if it were true? If I was really, and I believe I'm a very good singer, but if it was really true, and especially when I was starting out, when I was not very good, I was struggling, I still had this self-concept. How would I be? How would I approach the practice? How would I do that? So I approached the practice with this confidence and this assurance that, what techniques I'm using, they are great. What I'm practicing is great. And it built on it, and eventually somebody showed me some techniques, and I eventually found a course. I found a course on singing called V60, and I took that course, and as I am a dedicated singer, I am a good singer, so it's like practice become a normal part of my life. I took that V60. I did it for 60 days. Maybe I missed one day somewhere in between when I was slightly sick, and I did the whole 60 days. I think I missed one day somewhere, and by the end of 40th day, I could already feel that I'm at another level. Like I was at a freaking another level. But it was all coming from the state I am that. I was not trying to become it. You see the difference? When I was doing these techniques, when I was practicing singing, I was always doing it from the state of I already am a great singer. I already have great pitch. I already have a great head voice. So I was not trying to make it happen. You see that? So this is what Neville said, acceptance of the end wills the means, right? So as I said, when I accepted I am a good singer, I was shown the V60 program, and before I had taken many programs. I had spent thousands of dollars on singing courses, coaching, and stuff like that. And I sort of improved a little bit, but I never had this tremendous jump. Only when I found V60, but V60 came to me because of the shift in my state of consciousness, right? So acceptance of the end wills the means. So the means V60 was shown to me because once I really shifted into that state. And so this is where people get stuck, right? They're like imagining trying to get the thing. So do not imagine getting the thing. Imagine already having it. You already have it, right? A lot of people, like there was another like I was telling, one of the younger people who follow me, and they found out that I play for soccer. I sometimes play with my nephew. I used to play a lot for fun. Soccer is like one of my first loves. I really love soccer, football. A lot of people call it. And to this day, I love watching it. I don't play as much, but I always tell people, like, when you practice the drills, when you do something, you're not trying to make it happen, right? With the drills or the practice you do, not that I see myself becoming a confident soccer player. You're not seeing that. A lot of people will imagine, visualize the drills, right? The practice session. They will visualize doing the drills, running between the cones and doing all these step overs and different techniques. Maybe they practice shooting, passing, whatever. That is during the event. That is not you already have it. What would you be like, or what would it be like if you already have it? You could imagine coming off the field and somebody congratulating, wow, you played amazing, wow, your skills have exploded, wow, you're such an amazing soccer player. That is the end. It's not the drills you do. It's not this middle. There's the people imagine these things. So not to say that cannot put you in the state. It can. But the best would be, the most optimal way would be to imagine the end. So this is the question. This is the key question. And I always tell everyone to really think about this key question. The key question is this. What would this imply if it were already true? What would this imply if it were already true? Right? Or Neville said, what would it be like if it were already true? So when you are stepping off the game and you see your coach and your coach congratulates you, or your friends or your colleagues congratulate you on playing an amazing soccer game, saying your skills were through the roof and your pass was amazing or that shot was amazing, that is the end. So this implies it's already done, that all my practice has paid off. I am already a great soccer player. Not the middle. It's simple, it's short, and it's very nice, right? I remember when I used to visualize it and saying that, and then one day, one of my friends, he came to me, wow, like today the goal you scored, you just cut between the players. That was amazing. And he came to me, I didn't even visualize that particular thing, but I was like, I always visualized being great, and like, I expected compliments coming my way, and it came my way. And that time I didn't even know that much about manifesting. I was very, very young. Probably if I knew, I could have aimed to become a professional soccer player or something like that. But at that time, I believed that when I was doing practices and all that, and sometimes I did amazing stuff, and I was like, wow, I just did crazy stuff. This is what Zidane does, or this is what Messi does, and like these players do. I just, my touch was like a top player of mine. But more importantly, it was just the shift in my mindset. And then the 3D world happened, and then people actually gave me the compliment in the 3D world. But when the compliment came, I was like, thanks, I appreciate it, but I know that already. So it's a different way, right? Yeah. So this is the key secret, and a lot of people misunderstand this, is we use the techniques to induce the state, and we make the state very natural. That is what we are doing. Okay? So, for example, manifestation happens when that things becomes very normal, very ordinary, right? Now I'm at a point where, to me, like singing songs is something very, very normal. It doesn't faze me. I don't get as nervous. It's just the state I am. It's the identity I have. So it's very natural to me. And I'm like, I might have one or two bad days, but every singer, every performer, every artist, every player has those. But it doesn't take away from who I really am. So a millionaire of 10 years, this is what I want to imply, doesn't get excited about paying the bills. He's like, I've been a millionaire for so many years. How does it matter? A loved person doesn't wonder if they're loved if they don't receive a text message today. Right? They don't wonder. If I don't text my SP today, or if I don't text my mom today, they don't wonder that, oh, my son doesn't love me, or my boyfriend doesn't love. It's not like that, right? They are already in the state of love. For them, this is normal. A confident person or a confident singer doesn't try to be a confident, or doesn't try to be a confident singer. It is who they are. Okay? So this is what Neville exactly said. This is the quote. The time it takes for your assumption to harden into fact is proportional to the naturalness of the feeling. So techniques are meant to make the state feel obvious. Techniques are like state inducing tools. So not extremely emotional or intense. And not to say that you cannot feel emotions. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you should not feel emotions. When you do the techniques, when you do the states, maybe that it feels emotional, where it feels strong. You have some strong emotion, and that's perfectly fine, even if you have some. But over time, it will become very, very normal. It will become very normalized. Right? Very, very normal. So once the state feels real, and once you've imagined it, don't force it. Don't constantly keep checking or keep forcing or asking when. If you're doing that, then that means you're not fully shifted yet. So that's a cue to go back into your state, into your wish fulfilled, and imagine it more, live it more, be in the state more, until it becomes very, very natural. And when you feel the saturation, and when you feel that, wow, this is completely normal, why am I doing this over and over, I am already that, then it's time to enter the Sabbath. It's time to rest, right? This is the Sabbath, the mental rest. You don't abandon the desire. You abandon the effort. You don't need to visualize anymore. You don't need to do anything anymore. And you can just few times a day, just like for maybe a minute, you can claim, what would the feeling be like? Yeah, I got this. I am this, right? So this is when the effort disappears and the movement begins. And even when you're visualizing or manifesting, even from day one, the movement can begin. You just don't see it. But when your state becomes very, very natural, and it is always like you see this exponential curve. If you studied calculus or mathematics at high level, you might have seen this. There's a curve which goes like this, right? So when you're making our state natural, it's taking some time, making natural. But when it becomes very natural, it's like zoop, and then manifestation all like pops up like that, right? And then you're like, wow, that happened very fast. But over time, you'll also become much better at using techniques to get into the state and stay in the state. So when you're truly in the state, you don't really have to ask, what should I do? They become natural. Like for me, if I miss one day of singing practice, I just feel weird, right? It's just part of who I am now. So the action will flow automatically. Even when I'm tired, I'm home and I'm about to sleep, I'm like, let me put in like 10 minutes or 15 minutes of vocal warm-up, vocal practice, vocal agility, whatever. It's just who I am. Okay? So the opportunities appear, ideas come naturally, right moves feel obvious, and you didn't plan it. We think I planned it. I bought the V60 course. I did this. You moved into the state did it for you. Because then you're identifying with yourself. You're saying, oh, I did it. No, but who you truly are is the infinite awareness. You are that I amness. You are not the identity you're identifying with. Not to say that you cannot have an healthy ego. Completely fine. You can completely have an healthy ego. There's nothing wrong with it. But this is the key thing I want you to remember. And remember this. Techniques are not manifestations. Okay? They are the training wheels. So we use techniques as to train ourselves to get into the state. So we use them to enter the state, to feel the end, make the state feel more natural, live in the end, and make it as natural as possible. That's what the state is used for. And once you use states enough, the trainings will come off. Like if you read the earlier books of Neville, he would talk about visualization, this and that. But the older books, he would say, why do I need any techniques? I can just claim. Because he evolved and he let go of the training wheels quite a while ago. He had to use those techniques. And he let go of the training wheels. And not to say that you cannot still use techniques. You use the techniques, but always remember the state or who you are being while you do the techniques is the most important thing than the technique itself. And when you really understand who you are being is the most important thing, then you don't even need the techniques. Right? Now I don't have to do the techniques to remind myself all the time that I am a good singer, because it is who I am. It has become normal. It's only when I fall off, or if I perform badly or something happens and I feel like, oh, maybe I need to do the techniques again to just shift into that state again. Yes. So then you don't use this tool all the time, right? You just need to course correct a little bit. But yeah. So this is my call to action to you guys. If you really shifted your understanding, comment below. I choose my state. I choose my state. I choose my state. And my state of being is what manifests. My state of being is what manifests. So if you're going to choose your state, comment below and say, I choose my state. And that is the key. And by the way, if you haven't checked out my free video series, definitely check it out. It goes over the most common manifesting mistakes so you can avoid it. You can become successful and you can manifest really amazing with that, right? So highly recommend it. Check it out. It's completely free because I've coached so many people now and I see this pattern happening over and over again. Even when I see people in Discord and Reddit and they ask me questions or they discuss, I see the same mistakes over and over. And sometimes people will coach me and I'm like, I just coached this person over the same mistake. So my goal is that you don't even need any of us anymore. Like once you really get this, if you want to watch it for, remembering or reminding something. But my goal is you understand manifesting so well that you get the techniques and the state shifts and really understand the core concepts and you avoid the mistake that you don't need any of us. You don't need any of us coaches anymore. Right? So you can be a completely self-reliant manifester. And if you want to have some coaching, yeah, you can. Like it's always available. You can buy courses, watch one of my videos, some other creators' videos. That's perfectly fine. But you wouldn't even need us. The training views will come off. And that is my goal. My goal is not to be like other coaches where I'll like just keep consuming my content over and over. I want you to consume, get good at it, and just leave it. And I want to hear your success stories that you message me. Rohit, I watched that video. I watched those video series. I avoided these mistakes and now I have my SP. Now I have my business. Now I have my promotion. Now I have this. So I want you to be sharing the success stories with me. That's what I want. There's 8 billion people on the planet, and more than half of them don't even believe in manifesting. So 4 billion gone, but still 4 billion, it's way too much. Not ever in my lifetime I would be even able to talk to all of them. But this platform allows me to, spread the message. So that's all I wanted to share. I hope you guys got great value out of it. And if you have any questions, queries, post them in the comment section below. And I would love to hear your thoughts. And until then, I wish you great success on your manifesting journey. I hope this video was super valuable to you. It was extremely valuable to me when I really learned this distinction, because my ability to manifest was just like, it just exploded after that, right? So I was able to manifest VIP tickets, free concerts, free money, online income, and a bunch of stuff, good health, You know, loves, I've never had any problem with love anyway, but all of these things, when I really understood what techniques are useful for, and it's the state of consciousness which is the key to manifesting. So until then, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.